Hi, real estate enthusiast. So I wanted to come in here and talk a little bit about hiring contractors. So if you guys are investing like I am, then your operation expenses are a huge piece of it. And then when you're raising money before you're going to close, your CapEx is a huge piece of it. So you need to know what it's going to take to actually create, bring your business plan to life, which means your rehab budget, your improvements, whatever that may be. And then what it's going to take to actually operate the property. And so prior to closing on a property, you need to be working with a lot of different vendors and contractors. And so I don't know about you guys, but I feel that since 2020 happened, it's a little bit more challenging to find people who want to work, who kind of have that work ethics again. I don't know what it is. But anyways, I have kind of my top 3 things that I look at. And hopefully this helps you guys when you're moving forward and underwriting a deal and actually looking to not only find the quotes that come back that make sense for your underwriting, but that you can actually align yourself with someone that will actually get the work done within that quote, within that time frame, and is someone that you do want to work with. So again, you're gonna kind of keep hearing this from me that the numbers matter, but I like to make decisions on other aspects outside of numbers because numbers can continually change. And so you want to align yourself with the real purpose and reasons and what you're actually looking for. So again, with your operation expenses and your underwriting, the numbers need to make sense, but if someone can't perform or isn't telling the full truth on those numbers, that will actually make a bigger impact on your deal than if you had to adjust some numbers or do some negotiations up front because you aligned yourself with the people that are actually providing a correct quote, correct numbers, or could actually perform like they said they could. So again, I like to look more at the individual than the numbers, and sometimes I'm willing to actually pay more in certain areas for something that I need done right and I know will get done right because it'll cost me less in the end, even though it looks like it cost me more up front. But sometimes the cheaper or lower quotes end up costing you the most. So take that. That was not one of my tips, but that's a great one to take into consideration. So when hiring your contractors, I look at bid turnaround time. So when you're reaching out to a ton of different contractors and vendors when you're doing underwriting, it definitely takes time. And so that, they either ask you a ton of questions about the property, what you are planning to do, what your projections are. And, some of them actually need to go out to the property. Some of them need pictures of the property and et cetera. And so it can take some time in general. So don't, I say this as in, don't look at a contractor or a vendor and, if they don't have your numbers back in a week, I'm not saying don't use them. Take into consideration what type of bid you're asking them for and what it's going to take for them to provide that to you. So some people, it might take 2 to 3 weeks to get a number back to you, but based on what you're asking from them, it could be a lot of information and it could be a lot of research that they need to do, and it could actually take that much time. So obviously, if you're contacting a cable company and you just need to know what it would take for them to be your server for your cable company, it's not going to take them a month to get that quote back. So again, like I'm saying, bid turnaround time is huge, but you need to make sure that you're being that you understand a reasonable amount of turnaround time for them to get that back to you. So property managers and contractors, this is what they do for a living. A lot of them should get a quote back to you within 2 or 3 weeks. And during that time, they should be communicating with you. So bid turnaround time is highly valuable because if they can't get you a quote and they're not working with you to earn your business, then once they actually have your business, how hard do you think they're going to work for you? So I review this as how they're actually going to complete the work and where they're actually going to value my job that I'm paying them for. So the bid turnaround time is them proving themselves and working and earning me to hire them as a job. And so if they're not working very hard and they're not communicating to me and they're not getting information back, and I'm having to like reach out to them and try to pull a bid out of them, then that's a red flag for me. If I have to fight for them to earn my business, that's a huge red flag. So number 2 is how they communicate. So I did touch on this already because this plays a huge role in bid turnaround, but it also, I want to add like another little piece to it. So how are they communicating with you? Do they do it via phone call, text message, email, on Facebook? I know that there's different vendors with different apps and websites. So is that how they're communicating with you? So initially, communication comes from maybe whatever service or site you found them from, but moving forward, is it a convenient way of communication? Like, are they able to provide you the reports and information that you're needing from them on how they're communicating? So if they only are texting you and they never email you, and you need reports for your lender, your insurance company, your investors, whatever it may be, are they capable of actually filling out all the reports and emailing it to you so you can actually present that to the people that are requesting it from you? So some people don't actually ask that question because they are just communicating, and if they're responding to them, they're okay with that. But then when you actually try to get them on the phone, or if a problem arises and they don't answer their text message, all of a sudden that form of communication doesn't benefit you anymore, and it becomes a red flag. So if they're only communicating with me in one way and they never email, and they don't know how to use it, or they struggle with reports and stuff like that, that is also a red flag for me, because there is information that I need, and if someone isn't online, as a vendor, I work with quite a few sellers who aren't online these days, but as a vendor, someone I'm hiring, I would need them to be able to have internet access, email access, and know how to actually provide me reports or invoices or something like that. I'm open to facts, but again, you need to understand how they're communicating with you. And if they're only doing it one way, test out another way and make sure that that works with what you're needing from them and how that relationship's going to be moving forward. So again, if you're working with a cable company and they only ever give you like an 800 number and there's never like a direct associate, there's never anything like that, again, that would be a red flag. Yes, it's a phone number, but if they're not actually giving you someone's direct phone number or direct email address or something like that, I don't like to work with those types of companies, because when problems arise, there's no one to find and there's no one to call. And when problems happen, it's because your tenants, your insurance, or your lender are reaching out to you. And those are people that you really want to keep happy and get back to. So how they communicate, for me, that's a red flag. 4, how they itemize quotes. So I'm putting this one on here. Just for individuals who might not be as familiar with looking at bids or getting numbers back. So all vendors do it differently, but you want to take into consideration if they're going to charge you sales tax. I have some that don't and some that do. Are they going to be able to provide you a 1099? If you're paying someone over $700, then they have to be 1099 at the end of the year. They're a contractor, they're not an employee. So how they itemize their quotes is helpful, because what information they actually provide on their invoice, what information they're able to provide to you, and some contractors, they just give you a quote. They're just like, it's going to cost us $50,000 to do this job. Well, I don't know what that means. Are you considering in labor? Are you considering in travel? Are you considering in materials? Like what is included in that $50,000? And I do see it happen where someone will go with a bid that they're quoted because the number makes sense and they like it, and then they realize that it was only 30% of the materials were included, and there's 70% of the materials that the contractor was expecting the investor to provide. So you want to make sure that whatever bid quote that you're getting is itemized, so you can see what is actually you're getting charged for to get that job completed. So again, I know it seems maybe kind of a weird one. I don't know. It might seem like a weirder one for you guys to look at, but Every contractor does their invoices differently, and it's amazing how some of them just lump it in because it's easy, or some of them don't calculate mileage because they don't care, but maybe they have other prices. Do they add a concession on it? So is their bid adding a 20% concession? Why are they doing that? Does that mean because they are always off on their numbers? Or are you going to be able to have a lower bid if everything aligns outside of that concession? So there's definite things that you want to break down in whatever bid you're getting from your vendor or contractor, and it does make a difference. So again, the turnaround time for you to get your bid or quote from the contractor or vendor, how they're communicating that to you, and their questions and kind of everything throughout that process, and itemizing their quotes. Those are my 3 red flags, depending on how they, turn these around, provide them to me, or get them to me. So I hope this was helpful. So this is if you have a contractor or vendor that you're looking to hire. These are my things that I focus on primarily. Again, numbers matter, but this is more about how they are, how they're representing themselves, and how they're connecting with me. And that to me is a bigger piece of the puzzle than how much they're gonna cost me. Because if I know they're gonna get it done, and I know they're gonna do a good job, and I know they're gonna provide me what I need in a professional manner, and I can do my taxes, I can reach my lender, I can do my insurance company, I'm gonna pay a little bit more for that than the guy who isn't getting back to me, only text messages me, gives me a lump sum quote, and then at the end of the day, there's lots of surprises, they don't really know what they're doing, and their time frame, who knows, they put multiple jobs in front of me and didn't tell me that they weren't going to get to me until 2 months. So for me, these are most important because it shows me their business ethics and kind of the fundamentals of how they run their company, not just the numerical aspect of the bid that's coming towards me. So again, hope this was helpful. You guys comment below, let me know what's going on in your companies, in your business, and anything that you need help on or want to discuss in further detail, and stay tuned for my next video.